Hi, everyone. Welcome to my free webinar, Why You Should AI Proof Your Therapy Practice Today. My name is Luis Resendez. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And I just want to take time to thank you for being here with me to just hear some relevant information about this important topic. And that's essentially AI entering the mental health profession and the utmost importance why each and every one of us need to take these steps to AI proof our practices because one way or another, AI can. It's already in many ways cut into our work with clients. I don't see it in the immediate future threatening our direct work with clients, but that's not to say that, populations of people might not steer away from utilizing the support we offer and, just flock towards the convenience of AI. So I want to share with you today the reasons why, you and I, all of us should just take these steps to AI proof our work. So a little bit about me. I'm a practicing therapist since 2009. I'm licensed currently in California, Texas, and Oregon. I'm owner of a small group practice, Vita Emotional Wellness, and we are based in Riverside, California, which is about an hour east of Los Angeles Drive. I'm also an author. I've written a book on postpartum depression in men, as well as a men's gratitude journal, and another book too, centered on just understanding men's mental health. That's actually my treatment niche, and it's something I'm very passionate about. I'm also a part-time professor, an international speaker, and like I mentioned, I'm really passionate about men's mental health, which is my treatment niche, as well as trauma, working with just people of the general population. So, the elephant in the room, let's just get right to it. AI is pretty much here. Many of you may have clients you're currently working with who have told you in their therapy sessions that they use ChatGPT as kind of like a supplement to their work with you. I have a couple of clients who do that. And in my work, I'm just reminding them, hey, just be really careful because that, AI stuff cannot replicate the actual connection you and I have in our therapy sessions and just the potential dangers and pitfalls and stuff like that. But we're seeing these chat bots and apps like Youper launching on almost a weekly basis. Youper's a little scary, for lack of better words, and I've looked it up, and it's essentially an app that a person can download, and it acts kind of like in a Chat GPT type way as some sort of de facto therapist, even though in just its wording and the way, it renders its support. It does not use the word therapist or anything like that. But we just have to be real and honest that clients are using, things like that or Chat GPT as kind of like supplemental therapists. Sometimes, just the convenience factor, clients are reaching out to or utilizing these platforms instead of connecting with a human practitioner. And there's, just been a lot of concern, safety issues, and things like that, but folks nevertheless are still doing these things. Legislators in the US, they seem to be taking really little action in addressing this. I know recently the state of Illinois here in the US passed legislation that AI cannot be utilized as a therapy type service. So great for the state of Illinois. I know there's some gaining traction in a couple of states, but I'll be honest with you folks, the almighty dollar, at least here in the US, it reigns supreme. And I'm concerned that venture capitalists are, just funding money to their local congressmen or whatnot to slow down such legislation and, just kind of keep that gray area open, so to speak. But I'm concerned about the human impact as a result of that, and just cases of mental health crises or what have you happening as a result of folks misusing AI as a supplemental therapist. Now, one question many of us have been asking ourselves over the past couple of months, years, especially with the emergence of things like ChatGPT, and again, it being used as kind of like a de facto therapist by many folks, will AI replace me? I don't see that happening, probably not in our lifetimes, but nevertheless, that's not to say again that just, people out in the general population may still be, tantalized, for lack of better words, by the convenience of AI rather than connecting with a human therapist, which of course you can't replace the work that we do directly with our clients, the humanity that goes into our interactions with them or whatnot. A lot of folks just not understanding that folks in the general population, because let's just be honest, a lot of people in the general population still don't know a whole lot about mental health support. So, just the threat, it's real. It's out there. 10,000 plus apps are currently available right now on the Apple Store, the Droid Store. I'm an Apple user, so I really don't know what Droid users what their store is called. But nevertheless, on Google Play and things like that, you could still find these apps. They're out there, and they seem to be emerging by the week, by the month, and whatnot. Some of them go kerplunk. Some of them seem like they're doing pretty okay. But I'm really concerned too about just the lack of regulation on these apps, and who's overseeing them in terms of just their service delivery and things like that. And again, my concerns about legislators just essentially not doing much to address this. A lot of times these are marketed as just being cheaper, faster, and always available. So even think of someone dealing with a mental health crisis at 2 in the morning. Yes, they can connect with national suicide crisis line or what have you. But if their phone is available and they have Chat GPT or Uber or whatnot, very high probability that for the convenience factor, they just may, start talking to their AI app and be given mental health feedback and advice that isn't very helpful. And a lot of times too, again, this stems from just the general population's still lack of awareness of how mental health treatment works. But nevertheless, many people may see these things as just being good enough, and that, hey, I talked to Chat GPT today, and yeah, it worked. It helped me, calm down my panic attack or something like that. Those are some things that clients may be thinking out loud, and that suffices. And this is, really all I need. But nevertheless, as practitioners, people have gone through training, obtained degrees or what have you. We know what's really good enough in the end for folks, and artificial intelligence can't provide that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, folks. We have to pay really close attention to what's going on in the emergence of AI in the mental health profession. Just if we ignore it, sweep it under the rug, so to speak, it could put our work at risk with clients one way or another. And again, just think of folks out in the general population finding convenience through using ChatGPT, Uber, whatever the heck it is, and just failing to understand that those apps, AI cannot replace, again, direct human interaction, especially if you're talking about things like crisis response or what have you. An AI app cannot assess for, potential suicidal ideation and things like that the way a human being can. So I think even just as practitioners, educating the public, the general population is also a good step. But nevertheless, we have to stay on top of these things. We have to know what's going on. So what's it already doing? Through apps even like Uber. Uber prides itself on being able to predict mood, stress, and I didn't see this in Uber, but I know a couple other apps even talk about, just suicide risk and being able to measure and assess for stuff like that. And just I'm concerned about how their algorithms or programming or whatnot. How can you actually determine that without being physically present and tuned in with another human being the way we can as therapists? I mean, that this is just what we do. And I would say that the de facto answer to that is that AI cannot. So even the concern is it properly risking for things like suicidal self-harm ideation, harm to others, and things like that? And compared to a human being, probably not. Offering just these check-ins or what have you, and again, think of the convenience factor of just prospective clients or even just people in the general population needing that support at 2 in the morning or 2 p.m. midday, and just let me open Chat GPT, them thinking or even saying to themselves, I'm going to open Chat GPT and talk to my AI and just have it give me feedback or whatnot. Conducting check-ins or what have you, things that essentially, again, aren't as effective as if they would be doing with the live person in a clinical setting. And it doesn't even have to be an office setting. It can even be virtually too. So even think of those of us who do virtual work with clients. Yeah, there are the technology limitations and things like that. But nevertheless, we're still present with them in that sense. And of course, too, a lot of these apps will just do like basic CBT type interventions, changing, identifying negative thoughts, things like that, mindfulness exercises, coping skills. And a lot of them are kind of basic too, at least from what I've seen in my investigations, just, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding techniques, deep breathing or whatnot. And, just again, kind of like surface level stuff, but not being able to dive a lot deeper as you and I would be able to in our individual sessions with our clients. Also, too, one way or another, I think just with a lot of this language, especially what I saw on the UPR website or what have you, indirectly, but even through some backdoor approaches, framing itself as a replacement for human therapists. When you read the outcomes on the UPR website or whatnot, there just seems to be some inclination from the feedback from the users is that yeah, this stuff is really working, but then you can't help but just even pick up on yeah, this is kind of like what I would get from a therapist or something like that. So some scary stuff. Nevertheless, we know that again. These AI platforms and apps cannot replace you and I, but just people in the general population, they don't seem to really know or understand it, especially again in a day and age where just it's all about convenience and what's essentially available at your fingertips. So just some quick stats. AI in mental health in 2023, it blew up to 1.1 billion. 5 billion by 2030. That's only as of today. That's only about 4.5 years from now. Okay. And then these investors, these venture capitalists, they're plugging in more money to the creation of more apps. They're turning to Silicon Valley startups or what have you. They're becoming more intricate in many ways too, how they fund the growth of these apps. I know they're using a lot of clinicians for feedback and design and things like that. So even you have people on the inside, so to speak, that are behind the scenes and driving this essentially. But with the almighty dollar too, they're able to, just market across social media platforms. Think of, where young people consume a lot of information nowadays, social media being the big one right there, in not so many words. And young people in particular see that, and just, they gobble it up essentially is that, hey, this is maybe what I need to do. Maybe this will be a lot easier than trying to call a therapist. So not so many words, everyone. This means that clients will hear about these tools before they hear about you. Because again, just the mass marketing and the almighty dollar and stuff like that, the convenience of social media, they're going to be blanketed with these messages from these tech companies that, hey, try our app, use our app. This will be effective for helping treat your depression, anxiety, or what have you. They may give testimonials or even maybe make some up, who knows? But they're going to hear about, just how great these things are before they hear about the work that you and I are doing as human beings, people who have the capacity to just be present with clients who are dealing with emotional distress rather than some AI apparatus or something like that. Okay. So one thing that we can all attest to, okay, and I can see you, not literally, but nodding your heads on the other side of the screen. But when you think of your clients and what they actually want from you, they want to be heard. They want to be listened to. Think of, those sessions you've had with clients where maybe you didn't even really give a whole lot of clinical feedback, but nevertheless, they felt heard and understood by you. They may have even told you that, yeah, thank you for listening to me. I felt, really heard and I appreciate, what you've done and etc. Okay. But again, that only a human being can give them. Feeling safe, feeling understood within our best abilities, because we know that our clients' experiences are subjective. Only they can understand them. But nevertheless, within our best abilities, we're able to understand what we can. And then just connecting with the real human, someone that they can trust. And let's be honest, as mental health providers, we're probably one of the very few people they can actually trust, with their stories of their trauma, the adversity, all of these things that they've had to fight throughout their lives. Sometimes we're one of those only few people available where they share these stories with. And again, AI cannot give that. But if you don't show that, if we don't demonstrate that in our work with clients, they may not know the difference. So even again, think of a client just telling their trauma story to ChatGPT or something like that. ChatGPT giving whatever advice. Oh, okay. You may have a client thinking, yeah, um, yeah, this sounds like therapy type stuff. Maybe this is really all I need. Maybe I'll need to call that therapist whose number I have on my drawer. When really they should call and connect with that therapist, that human being, that person who can guide them in their healing journey, who can walk side by side with them. All right. So we have an edge, our humanity, just how we're warm, caring, we're just essentially human. Sometimes our personal stories, our lived experiences help. And these are even the reasons too why clients pick us. Even think of, they talk to you on the phone, they see your website, your psychologytoday.com profile, and you convey things that you essentially are transmitting a message to them that I will get you on, I will understand you within my best abilities. Those are going to be the hooks that bring them in. They're going to think to themselves, wow, there are people out there who do care, people who may understand my story. They may understand my story better than those closest to me. But the question is, though, are you highlighting them? Your strengths, your humanity, all of these things, are you bringing them out in your work with your clients or even in your marketing, whatever it is? Oftentimes we don't. We get so hung up on things like outcome measures and even training and modalities and stuff like that. Sometimes I think we lose a little bit of our humanity because we're just, focused on what happens after the work. But sometimes we miss not only just the work itself at times in the process, but even those things that lead our clients to work with us. Okay, so you got to pay attention to that. So, an opportunity you can take right now is leaning into your uniqueness, those things that just make you you, highlighting your humanity, and thinking of too how AI could be a tool, not a competitor, but it can be a tool, something that you use to your advantage. Okay, something that you can make. I'm not going to call it a companion, but again, a tool at your dispense to maybe even streamline some of your work. But also building or just, solidifying the foundation of a practice that AI cannot replace. In other words, making it human and really doubling down on the humanity that you bring into your work with clients, which is really important. That's key. All right. So here's the next step you can take. So this webinar was just the one. Okay. We know that AI is a real threat. It's out there. People are utilizing it. People are gobbling it up as a supplement or even as an adjunct to mental health treatment. Okay, when we know that that's potentially dangerous. We know that you being human, being a person, that's the advantage you have over AI. AI is soulless, you have a soul as a human being. But the longer you wait and not take action to just harness that, stay abreast of the changes, could be potentially dangerous, could cut into your work, your referral stream, and your clients or potential future clients' abilities to see you and connect with you. So that's where my course comes in, the how. My step-by-step actions through the course you can take to start AI proofing your practice today. All right, so my course, Human First, Being an Irreplaceable Therapist in the Age of AI. Okay, so what I share with you, what I teach you, kind of, just really highlighting the importance of harnessing your strengths and your uniqueness to build an AI-proof practice, really tapping into you being the greatest resource that you bring into your therapy space with the client. Okay, becoming that therapist that no AI platform can replace. Okay, and it starts with just being human, standing out in ways that no, I don't know if we want to call it a robot. I guess we could just call it an AI platform or whatever it is, but standing out in ways that technology, soulless things cannot replace. making an AI tool, making AI a tool to grow your practice, but not your enemy. Okay, and tools, of course, they augment our work. They streamline our work. They make it easy. At times, they're not going to do the work for us. Okay, so a drill is not going to help you, you know, put stuff into your wall like a new shelf or something like that. But it can lay the foundation, drilling holes and screws or whatnot. That way you can put that shelf in on your own. Think of that analogy. Beginning to think too more outside of the box and leveling the playing field. I think this is, with this whole advent of AI and how it's, essentially chomping into the work of us as behavioral health practitioners. It's going to push us more in a place where we have to think outside the box even more and more. But also too, in my course, you're going to learn how to turn your worry into confidence and control your career and future. We're all worried. We're concerned about, just losing our jobs to AI, even though, again, I don't think that's going to happen in our lifetimes. There are professions out there at risk. Yeah, but I don't see anything involving direct human interaction for healing purposes, anything in the medical profession. We're in the medical profession. I don't see that at risk right now, but nevertheless, AI can just start nipping at us, so to speak, start chomping away at certain things. And again, when you think of the general population, could be steering folks more in the direction of utilizing AI rather than connecting with us directly as human providers. Okay, so what makes my course so unique? It's short and practical. I just get right to the nitty gritty. I know that many of you have your own lives. Many of you are parents, you have activities with your children, you have home obligations, things like that. So no BS, just short and practical. The modules, you can watch them in a couple minutes and take notes, and just being respectful of your time. That way, also in between taking this course, seeing your clients or whatnot, me being cognizant that you also have a life to live, you have rest to catch up on, and etc. And again, no fluff. I just get right to the point. Straightforward strategies that you can start using like right from day one. Okay. And me being a human being, I'm focused on authenticity. So I'm practicing what I'm preaching. Just like you being authentic with your clients, having warm and real connections. And of course, built by me as a therapist. I know the field. I've been practicing for 16 years. I know the pressures that we deal with even when AI is not a factor, but also the fears too. And one of our biggest fears is that, are we going to lose our clients even when AI is not involved? Are we being as effective as we can as therapists? Are we, just challenging the doubts or whatnot? I know it because I've seen it. I continue to see it. And of course, through the wonders of modern technology, this thing is accessible 24/7, wherever you'd like, whenever you'd like. If you're on vacation and you want to watch it, you're out on the beach and just want to chill and relax, even though I would say save the educational stuff for, time in which you're not relaxing or what have you, enjoy your time off. But whenever you like to access it, it's there. Okay. So pricing. All right, so I'm offering it at this new introductory price for $249. Originally, it's $300, but since this is an introduction, I want to make it available and accessible to fellow practitioners. So you can pay it in one 249 one-time payment, say $51 compared to regular price, and then of course start accessing the course and the materials immediately. So the course webinars, 6 of them, 5 worksheets, and any extra things that you need would just be a journal, a pen, and a very, 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 very open mind. And of course, if you can't pay that, then I offer monthly payments, $95. You can start accessing everything right away. Okay, so still a little bit lesser than the $300, but nevertheless, it's there at your dispense. Now, folks, I'm offering this course because I don't want anybody to fall behind. Essentially, this is helping you lay the foundation to begin to AI-proof your practice. Again, AI, it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And I think, just one of the scary things, the many scary things about it is the fact that AI is growing exponentially by the nanosecond. It's learning, by the nanosecond, it's acquiring information, and within its best abilities, it's essentially, trying to just replicate human interaction, human thinking, processing, or whatnot. and we can't get rid of it. Just think of like this mold essentially that keeps growing, so to speak, even though maybe mold isn't the best analogy. But nevertheless, we can learn to embrace it while just continuing to evolve in our work and serving our clients in just those ways that they need us to show up for them. And at the end of the day, just reminding them that, hey, we're here as human beings. We're here to support you. Yeah, this AI stuff does exist, but we are here to support you. Okay. So it's really important. It's imperative that we just start to take these steps to AI proof our work. And that's where my course comes in to just, give you what you need to see you on your way to begin to AI proof your practice, show up for your clients, and essentially offer the best services that you can offer to your therapy clients. So sign up. I will include the link below in the description of this video and also within one of the comments. But folks, again, please let's take more time to reflect on this and let's take some action. Only collectively can you and I band together and keep the integrity of our work, our dedication to our clients, and heal the world one person at a time. Thank you very much for being with me today.